Hey everyone. Hello, it is Chrisnatha DeRozier, certified life coach, author, and speaker, and I am back with another video. So welcome back, everyone. As you come in and join me, say hello down in the chat. Do not be shy. So hopefully everyone is doing well. And today I want to talk to you briefly about serving with purpose. Serving with purpose. It is imperative that not only do we serve, but that we serve with purpose. And so we're going to also talk about what that looks like. What does that look like? So we know that we hear the term to serve, right? And if we're honest, we serve in so many different aspects of our lives, right? We could serve at home, we serve in the workplace, we serve in our community, right? We serve our families, we serve ourselves, right? And so how do we do that? What does that look like? And how can we be intentional with serving, right? How can we be intentional with service? In living in this time where there's just so many people that could be in competition with us, or we can be in competition with ourselves, right? And so like we go ahead and we start scrolling on social media and we can start to compare ourselves to other people, right? We can start to say, man, I'm not doing as much as she's doing. I'm not accomplishing or at the level at which he is, right? And we can start comparing our journeys with other people. But we want to make sure that we are careful to not compare our journey with others, but that we are intentional about our very own journey, right? That we are focused on our assignment, what God has put on our heart, the things that we are called to do. And so I want to encourage you to not get caught up in competition, right? Because competition, it's a thief, right? You spend so much time focused on what someone else is doing. You don't spend the time that you do have focused on all the incredible things that you are doing, right? And so just eliminating that competition in our minds first. And also putting aside this hustle mentality, this idea that everything we do has to be hard, has to come at great lengths, right? That we have to just labor so much. Yes, there's work involved with everything that we do, but we also want to invite ease into our lives. We want to invite purpose into our lives. We want to invite the fact that in the mentality and thought that we can do what we need to do, and it doesn't always have to be hard. Everything doesn't have to be hard. There's going to be some things that just flow to us as well. And so I want us to start embracing that idea, that thought. All right, so being intentional is about where you were called to serve, who you were called to serve, and doing that well. That's serving with purpose. Where am I called to serve? Who am I called to serve? And how can I do that well, right? That's being intentional. That's being purposeful, doing things on purpose, not just because other people are doing it or doing what my peers may say is what is the thing to do, but really setting my own path and being different, right? Making a stand and being my own person. So specifically, if we're talking about believers, we're talking about Christians, right? We're called to serve others, and we all need inspiration and biblical reinforcement for the things that we do, right? As believers, whether it's volunteering for your local church, serving as a church employee, being a community advocate, right? Really setting the tone for the messages that the children in your community, in your family, in your church, family, and ministry receive, right? What are you doing and how are you doing it? And so I do want to share two scriptures with you regarding service. Okay, and the first one is in Matthew 23, verse 11. Matthew 23, verse 11 reads, "The greatest among you will be your servant. The greatest among you will be your servant." It is important to serve. Leaders serve. Okay, leaders don't just bark orders and tell people what to do, but leaders lead from the front. Leaders lead from the front. The next scripture is Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 and 24. And it reads, "Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you are working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ." So I'm going to read that one more time. It's one of my favorite scriptures regarding service. All right. So Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 through 24. And it reads, "Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you are working for the Lord than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ. And so once you shift your perspective from I have to I get to. So what does that look like, right? I'm sure you're wondering, what does that mean? I have to versus I get to. For instance, I have to go into work today, right? Versus I get to go in and really help my clients get in alignment with their financial future, right? There is a difference. There is a difference. I have to get on these sales calls today and these discovery calls, right? Versus I get to really help women get an insight, right? Get insight concerning their future financial and personal lives, right? They get insight on these calls, and I'm able to show them that I have a skill, I have a program, right? I have a resource that can help them reach their goals and reach it faster than if they try to do it on their own, right? So it's I have to versus I get to. So I'm encouraging you to also embrace that thought process as well. Now, when we are serving, it's imperative that we serve with purpose. Who do you serve and why? When you serve in your home, who do you serve and why, right? Many of us will say, I serve my family, right? I serve my family in my home. How can you serve them with purpose? How can you be intentional about making sure your children get the lessons that they need? Not just I put a roof over their head, which is great, right? But what else? Why is it important that I am their mother? Why is it important that I am teaching them the right way to do things? Why is that important? So I want you to go deeper with that. At work, right? In the workplace, in the office. How can you serve with purpose in the office? How can you make sure that the clients, the customers, the team that you serve, how can you do that and be intentional about being the best leader possible? How can you equip your team to be the best team possible, right? What are some things you can implement starting today to make sure that not only are you serving them, but you are being intentional, right? You're not just doing it because you have to, you're doing it because you get to, right? In your business, how do you serve with purpose? Who do you serve? And what are the ways that you do that? How can you be more intentional about speaking to your audience, getting on social media, however you speak to your people, right? Your tribe. How can you serve them and be more intentional, serving them with purpose, right? Letting them know that I get you, I hear you, I am the solution to your problem. In your community, what is the message that I am sharing in my community, whatever that looks like? Your local community, your circle of influence, it's all community, right? And so how can I be more intentional? What are some ways I can step up and say, we can do better as a community, but I'm going to be the example. Why? Because I am a leader. God has called me to be a leader, and I'm going to lead from the front. So leaders, if you are not doing so as of yet, it's time for you to start leading from the front. And so I want you to really start thinking about all of these things starting now. How can I serve with purpose? How can I be more intentional? How can I remember my why and make more of an impact? Right? How can I provide more value? How can I provide more quality? It's not always about the numbers. It's about how you do, right? How you make people feel, the impact that you are making. So I want you to really sit down as we get ready to enter the fourth quarter. I really need you to sit down and start thinking about this. I don't just want to do things. I want to be intentional with my time, right? Because your time is valuable. Intentional with the impact that I make, intentional with the relationships that I build. And I want to serve who I am called to serve, right? Really get even more connected with who I am called to serve and doing that well. So I hope you guys are really, really, really blessed by today's talk, serving with purpose, and that you really begin to sit down and think about how you can be an even greater leader in your own life and in the life of others. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I had an awesome time, and we'll be back really, really soon. Once again, I'm Chrisnatha DeRozier, certified life coach, author, and speaker, and I will see you really soon. And until then, be well.